Welcome to the Prescott Lab Podcast, not just theory, practical science for everyone. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a physician and integrative medicine researcher at the Ravenshade Institute for Human Health. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you slept through the night without waking up 2, 3, maybe even 5 times just to use the bathroom? When was the last time you walked out the door without scanning for where the nearest restroom would be just in case? I've sat across from thousands of men, tough, capable, proud, who whisper about these problems like they're shameful secrets. But the truth is there's nothing shameful about it. What's frustrating is that so many men think their only options are pills, procedures, or simply putting up with it. The reality. Your prostate can respond, sometimes shockingly fast, when you give it the right raw materials. I'm talking about everyday foods backed by solid science that reduce inflammation, improve urinary flow, and protect the gland on a cellular level. Foods you can pick up on your next grocery run if you know which ones to look for. And here's why I'm making this episode. Too many men are left in the dark, never told that their kitchen might hold the first step toward sleeping through the night again, toward feeling steady, confident, and in control of their own body. Before we go further, I want to ask you for a small favor. If you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment and do it now and hit that like button. Not because I need the praise, but because every single like is the fuel that lets us create more of these deep dive videos just for men like you. If you want more answers, more proven solutions, that's how you keep them coming. So stay with me because in just a moment, we're going to start breaking down the first of 5 powerful foods that could change the way your nights and your days feel for good. Nut number 1, Brazil nuts, the 2-a-day game changer. If you've never paid attention to selenium before, you're not alone. Most men haven't. And yet for your prostate, it's one of the most important minerals you'll ever encounter. I think of George, 72 years old, retired after decades running his own hardware store. The kind of man who could fix anything with his hands, but couldn't seem to fix the nightly ritual that had been wearing him down. Waking up 3, sometimes 4 times before dawn, shuffling to the bathroom, and sitting on the edge of the bed afterward with that heavy sigh that says, "Here we go again." When George came to see me, he'd been through what he called the prostate roller coaster: flare-ups, medication cycles, temporary relief, and then symptoms creeping back. He was exhausted from chasing solutions. As we talked about his lifestyle and diet, one thing stood out. He was missing a critical defense at the cellular level. That's where Brazil nuts came in. Here's why. Brazil nuts are without question the richest natural source of selenium on the planet. Just 1 or 2 nuts, not handfuls, can give you your entire daily requirement. And research over decades has shown a clear link between adequate selenium intake and reduced risk of prostate issues. A large Harvard study found that men with higher selenium levels had a significantly lower incidence of advanced prostate cancer. Multiple clinical trials suggest selenium's antioxidant properties help neutralize free radicals before they can damage DNA in prostate cells. Think of your prostate as a fortress made of millions of cells. Selenium acts like a shield around those walls, intercepting the oxidative damage that accelerates tissue aging and fuels inflammation. When selenium is low, that shield weakens and the risks climb. I told George, this isn't about eating as much as you can. With selenium, more is not better. In fact, too much can be toxic. The sweet spot is 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day. Chew them well, pair them with a glass of water, and keep everything else in your routine steady so you can see the change clearly. 3 months later, George was back in my office, same steady handshake, but a different expression. His PSA level, one of the markers we track for prostate health, had dropped slightly. More importantly, the dull pelvic pressure he'd carried for years had eased. He was sleeping better, had more energy during the day, and told me, "Doc, I finally feel like I'm part of the solution instead of just waiting for the next pill." And Brazil nuts don't stop at selenium. They're loaded with healthy monounsaturated fats that help stabilize testosterone levels without allowing excessive conversion to DHT, the hormone that drives prostate growth. They also contain magnesium, which works alongside selenium to relax muscles in the urinary tract, allowing the bladder to empty more completely. That means fewer nighttime trips and a stronger, more satisfying stream. But there's a catch: quality matters. Always buy raw or dry roasted Brazil nuts from a trusted source, because they're rich in oil, they can go rancid quickly. Store them in an airtight container in the fridge, and remember, 1 to 2 per day is all you need. What I've seen in men who start this habit is more than just symptom relief, it's a mindset shift. They stop thinking about their prostate as something to fear and start thinking about it as something they can protect. And when you pair the deep cellular defense of Brazil nuts with a food that can relieve urinary symptoms in a matter of days, the results can be remarkable. That next food, it's small, easy to find, and has been quietly helping men sleep through the night for generations. Nut number 2, pumpkin seeds, the overnight relief trick. If there's one food I've seen turn a man's nights around almost overnight, it's this one. I'm thinking about Tom, 67 years old, a retired firefighter. A man who'd spent his career running into burning buildings without hesitation, but now found himself held hostage by a far smaller threat, his own bladder. When Tom came to see me, he looked worn down. He told me he was waking up 5, sometimes 6 times a night to urinate. "Doc," he said, "I'm more tired now than when I was pulling double shifts." His stream was so weak he'd stand there for minutes, straining only to feel like he hadn't finished. He tried medication, but it left him dizzy and worse, drained his desire for intimacy, something he wasn't ready to give up. That's when I told him about pumpkin seeds. And before you roll your eyes thinking this is some old folk remedy, hear me out, the science is solid. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest natural sources of zinc you can find. Your prostate is essentially a zinc reservoir. It holds more zinc per gram than almost any other organ in your body. But as we age, zinc levels tend to drop, leaving the prostate vulnerable to inflammation and overgrowth. A 2011 review in the Indian Journal of Urology linked low zinc levels directly to benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, the condition behind many men's urinary troubles. Animal and human studies have shown that restoring zinc levels can reduce prostate size and improve urinary flow. And zinc isn't the only player here. Pumpkin seeds are loaded with beta-sitosterol, a plant sterol that blocks the conversion of testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, DHT, the hormone that supercharges prostate growth. Lower DHT means less pressure on the bladder and urethra, translating to fewer urgent trips and a stronger stream. Tom was skeptical but willing. I gave him a plan, a small handful, about 1–2 ounces of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds every day. No candy-coated, no salty bar mix. For an extra boost, soak them in water overnight and eat them first thing in the morning. Soaking makes the nutrients more bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs them faster. Within 3 days, Tom called my office. "I don't know what kind of magic this is," he laughed, "but I'm only getting up twice at night now." By week 2, he'd slept through the night for the first time in years. His face lit up when he came in for his follow-up, the kind of relief that's hard to put into words. And there's one more benefit worth mentioning. Pumpkin seeds are high in magnesium, a mineral that relaxes muscles, including the bladder wall. When those muscles relax fully, you can empty the bladder more completely and finally feel that sense of completion. When buying pumpkin seeds, look for raw, unsalted varieties, sometimes labeled pepitas. You store them in an airtight container in a cool, dry place or refrigerate for freshness. What I love about pumpkin seeds is how quickly they can make a difference for some men. You don't have to wait months sometimes, the first signs of relief come in days. And when you combine that kind of rapid improvement with the deep cellular protection from Brazil nuts, you're hitting the problem from 2 sides at once. But there's another food I want to share with you, one tied to a family tradition in my own life, and packed with a nutrient that shields your prostate cells from the very damage that fuels inflammation and aging. And the best part? You can enjoy it every single morning without changing your routine. Nut number 3, almonds, the morning ritual from my grandfather. When I was a young doctor, long before I specialized in men's health, I spent a summer visiting my grandfather in India. Every morning without fail, he'd hand me a small porcelain bowl with a handful of almonds soaked overnight in a glass of water, skins peeled off. He never used words like antioxidants or vitamin E. Instead, he'd smile and say, "These will keep your mind sharp and your body strong." At the time, I thought it was just an old family tradition. Decades later, after years of working with men struggling with prostate issues, I realized my grandfather had been giving me one of the most potent nutritional tools for protecting the prostate, and science backs him up. Almonds are rich in vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant that acts like a protective shield for your cells. Prostate tissue is especially sensitive to oxidative stress, damage caused by free radicals that accelerates inflammation and tissue aging. A 2014 study in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute found that higher vitamin E intake was associated with better prostate health outcomes and reduced symptom severity in men with BPH. Vitamin E also supports immune function, helping your body fight off low-grade infections that can worsen urinary symptoms. But almonds bring more to the table. They're also a good source of magnesium, a mineral that relaxes the smooth muscles in your bladder and urinary tract. When these muscles can relax completely, your bladder empties more efficiently, reducing that frustrating feeling of never quite finished. Then there's the healthy fat profile, mostly monounsaturated fats, which help balance hormones and support steady energy. For older men, that hormone balance can mean keeping testosterone levels stable while preventing the excess conversion into DHT, the hormone that drives prostate enlargement. One of my patients, Daniel, 64 years old, was a perfect example. He was active, walked daily, drank plenty of water, and kept his weight in check. But he still woke up 2 to 3 times a night to urinate and felt his stream losing strength. I suggested he start small, 10 raw almonds each morning, soaked overnight and peeled, just like my grandfather taught me. Within 3 weeks, Daniel was down to waking just once per night. His stream felt stronger, his energy during the day was steadier, and he even told me he noticed he wasn't as irritable in the afternoons. That's something many men don't expect. When your body feels more at ease, your mind follows. If you want to try this, choose raw or dry roasted, unsalted almonds. Avoid flavored or heavily salted versions that add unnecessary sodium or sugar. Store them in a cool, dry place and if soaking overnight. Refrigerate during the soak to maintain freshness. Around 1 ounce per day, about 23 almonds is a good amount for most men. Almonds are versatile. You can eat them plain, blend them into a smoothie, chop them into oatmeal, or sprinkle them over a salad. But the key is consistency. A handful once in a while won't make much difference, but a daily habit over months and years can become a cornerstone of your prostate health strategy. And when you've built that habit, you can start stacking it with other foods that target different parts of the prostate health puzzle. The next one on our list does exactly that. It works deep in your bloodstream to improve circulation, reduce inflammation, and even support sexual performance in ways most men don't expect. Nut number 4, walnuts, the circulation booster you didn't see coming. Frank was 68 years old when he walked into my office, a retired mechanic with hands as strong as steel, but a body that had begun to slow in ways he didn't like. He came in for the same reason so many men his age do: nighttime bathroom trips that broke his sleep, a weak, hesitant stream, and a creeping frustration he couldn't quite shake. But as we talked, I noticed something else. Frank wasn't just worried about his prostate. He admitted he'd been feeling sluggish, mentally foggy, and even a bit disconnected from his wife. That told me his problem wasn't only in one gland, it was in his circulation. That's where walnuts come in. Walnuts are one of the richest plant sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid, ALA. These healthy fats don't just protect your heart, they also reduce inflammation throughout the body, including in the prostate. A 2018 study in the Journal of Nutrition showed that regular walnut consumption improved endothelial function, the health of the lining of your blood vessels, in older adults. Better endothelial function means better blood flow everywhere, including the pelvic region. Chronic inflammation is a silent driver of prostate enlargement, and omega-3s help calm that inflammation, creating an environment where the prostate can function more comfortably. Walnuts also contain ellagic acid and polyphenols, powerful antioxidants that protect prostate cells from oxidative stress, the gradual damage caused by free radicals over time. This cellular protection helps slow down the progression of benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, and may reduce the risk of more serious conditions later in life. For Frank, I suggested a simple daily habit: 1 small handful of raw walnuts each afternoon. Within a few weeks, he reported he was waking up less often to use the bathroom. His energy was steadier, his mind felt sharper, and with a grin, he told me his wife seemed to be smiling at him more often. That's not surprising. The same blood vessels that carry oxygen-rich blood to your heart also supply the pelvic region. When circulation improves, so does performance in more than one area. If you're adding walnuts to your diet, choose raw or lightly toasted, unsalted varieties. Because they're high in oil, store them in the refrigerator to keep them from going rancid. About 1 ounce a day, a small handful is enough. For an extra antioxidant boost, pair them with foods high in vitamin C, like berries or bell peppers, which help your body absorb and use their antioxidants more effectively. What I love about walnuts is that they work on multiple fronts, reducing inflammation, improving circulation, protecting your cells, and even supporting cognitive function. When your blood flows better, everything from your prostate to your brain benefits. And while walnuts help keep your body running like a well-oiled engine, the next food on our list works more like a precision shield, protecting your prostate from oxidative stress while supporting healthy hormone balance. And chances are, you've already got it in your kitchen. Nut number 5, pecans, the hormone balancer hidden in plain sight. Robert was 70 years old, a retired high school principal with the calm, deliberate way of speaking you'd expect from someone who spent decades running classrooms. He prided himself on eating plenty of vegetables, lean proteins, but when it came to nuts, he admitted with a laugh, "Doc, the only time I eat pecans is in a pie at Thanksgiving." I smiled and told him, "It's time we change that." Most people think of pecans only as the buttery filling in a holiday dessert. But beneath that sweet reputation lies one of the most potent prostate-friendly nutrients, beta-sitosterol. This plant sterol works by blocking the conversion of testosterone into dihydrotestosterone (DHT), the hormone that accelerates prostate growth. A 2000 meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Urology found that beta-sitosterol supplementation improved urinary flow and reduced residual urine volume in men with BPH. By reducing DHT levels, pecans can help slow prostate enlargement, relieve bladder pressure, and improve overall urinary comfort. But that's just one layer. Pecans are also packed with antioxidants, in fact. USDA analysis shows they contain more antioxidants per gram than many fruits and vegetables. These antioxidants help shield delicate prostate tissue from oxidative stress, the kind of cellular wear and tear that not only worsens BPH but can set the stage for more serious conditions over time. And let's not forget the fats. The majority of the fat in pecans is monounsaturated, the same heart-healthy type found in olive oil. This supports cardiovascular health, which in turn supports better circulation to the pelvic region. Improved blood flow means better nutrient delivery, faster tissue recovery, and even benefits for sexual performance. When Robert started adding a small handful of raw pecans to his daily routine, replacing the crackers and cheese he used to snack on in the afternoon, he noticed changes within weeks. His digestion improved. He felt more satisfied after meals, and over the next month he went from waking up 3 or 4 times a night to just once. He told me, "I didn't realize how much I had accepted the discomfort until it started to fade." If you want to try pecans, choose raw or lightly roasted, unsalted varieties. Because they're high in oils, store them in the refrigerator or freezer to preserve their freshness. About 1 ounce per day, roughly 18 to 20 pecan halves, is the sweet spot for most men. What I love about pecans is that they address two of the biggest factors in prostate health at the same time: hormone balance and oxidative protection. And when you combine them with the other foods we've discussed, you're building a multi-layered defense system for your prostate. We've now covered 5 powerful nuts, each with unique strengths, but knowledge alone won't change your health. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to turn this information into action with a simple daily plan that fits into your life starting tomorrow morning. 6 key takeaways: why these 5 nuts work better together. After decades in medicine, I've learned something simple but powerful. No single food is a magic bullet, but the right combination can feel close. Think of your prostate like a fortress. Each of the 5 nuts we've discussed is a different kind of defense. Brazil nuts reinforce the walls with selenium, shielding your cells from oxidative damage and reducing long-term risk. Pumpkin seeds repair the gates with zinc and beta-sitosterol, calming inflammation and restoring urinary flow. Almonds strengthen the watchtowers with vitamin E, keeping your immune system sharp and your tissues resilient. Walnuts send reinforcements through the supply lines, improving circulation with omega-3s and delivering more oxygen and nutrients where they are needed. Pecans balance the command center by lowering excess DHT, slowing prostate growth and keeping the whole system in check. On their own, each of these nutrients is valuable, but together they work on different levels of the same problem: hormonal balance, inflammation control, oxidative protection, circulation improvement, and that's why the results can be greater than the sum of the parts. Science backs this up. Nutritional synergy is a documented phenomenon where certain nutrients enhance each other's absorption and effectiveness. For example, magnesium from almonds and pumpkin seeds helps your body use selenium from Brazil nuts more efficiently. Omega-3s from walnuts improve blood flow, which can deliver zinc and beta-sitosterol from pumpkin seeds deeper into prostate tissue. This isn't about eating all five every single day. It's about building them into your life in a way that's simple, consistent, and sustainable. Because when the habit sticks, so do the results. In the next section, I'm going to give you exactly that: a clear, step-by-step daily plan to turn this knowledge into real changes you can feel, starting tomorrow morning. 7. Your Daily Prostate Power Plan. Information is only as powerful as what you do with it. I've seen too many men nod along, agree completely, promise themselves they'll make changes, and then slip back into the same old habits. I don't want that for you. If you've made it this far, you've already done the hardest part. You've taken the time to understand what your body needs. Now, let's make it happen. Here's your starting point, a plan you can begin tomorrow morning without turning your life upside down. Step 1. Choose 2 nuts to start with. If you want quick relief, begin with pumpkin seeds for urinary flow and Brazil nuts for deep cellular protection. You can add the others as you settle into the habit, but starting small makes it easier to stick. Step 2. Get the right form. Buy only raw or lightly roasted, unsalted nuts. Skip the versions coated in sugar, salt, or artificial flavors. They can undo the benefits. Check the expiration date. For high-oil nuts like walnuts and pecans, store them in the fridge or freezer to prevent rancidity. Step 3. Set the time and place. Pair your nuts with something you already do every day: morning coffee, lunch break, evening tea. The brain loves routines, and anchoring a new habit to an existing one is the fastest way to make it automatic. Step 4. Measure, don't guess. Brazil nuts 1-2 per day, no more. Pumpkin seeds 1-2 ounces, about a small handful. Almonds or walnuts 1 ounce, about a handful. Pecans 1 ounce, 18-20 halves. Overeating adds unnecessary calories, and in the case of selenium from Brazil nuts, can cause harm. Step 5. Track your wins. For the next 3 weeks, keep a simple note: how many times you get up at night, how strong your stream feels, your energy level during the day, even your mood. These small observations will fuel your motivation far more than abstract promises. Step 6. Get accountability. Tell someone you trust, a spouse, a friend, even your son, about your plan. When you say it out loud, you make it real. And if they ask you how it's going, that gentle nudge can keep you on track. You might even inspire them to take better care of their own health. Step 7. Commit for 30 days. Don't judge the results too early. Some changes come in days, others take weeks. But if you stay consistent, the benefits will start to layer on top of each other. Better sleep, fewer urgent bathroom trips, more energy, more confidence. This plan isn't complicated, and it's not about perfection. It's about stacking small, smart choices day after day until they become part of who you are. And when you combine knowledge with consistent action, you stop feeling like a passenger in your own health journey and start feeling like the driver. In our final section, I want to leave you with something even more important than the food itself. A shift in perspective that can change the way you approach your health for the rest of your life. 8. Closing, the beginning of your better chapter. We've walked through 5 powerful foods, each with its own way of defending, repairing, and supporting your prostate. We've talked about zinc and beta-sitosterol from pumpkin seeds, selenium from Brazil nuts, vitamin E from almonds, omega-3s from walnuts, and hormone-balancing antioxidants from pecans. We've built a plan that you can start tomorrow morning: simple, sustainable, and proven. But here's the truth: none of it matters if it stays as information in your head. Your prostate won't change because you watched a video. It will change because you acted: one handful, one better choice, one consistent step at a time. I've seen men go from waking up 6 times a night to sleeping through till morning. I've seen confidence come back into their posture, energy return to their voice, and connection return in their relationships. And none of those transformations started with perfection, they started with a decision. So here's mine for you. Decide that this is the moment you stop feeling like your body is slipping away from you. Decide that age is not a sentence, but an opportunity to live sharper, stronger, and more present than you thought possible. And if you found value in what we've shared today, I'm going to ask you as one man to another to support this mission. Hit the like button not for my sake, but because every single like tells us to make more videos like this for men like you. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. And in the comments, tell me one thing: what's the first nut you're going to add to your routine? This isn't the end of the road. It's the start of your better chapter. Let's write it together.